The Masters race was a real stunner yesterday, and the Pro-Ams gave us new blood, breaking in with impressive results. The action's going to be tough to top, but I'm pretty sure our drivers are up for it as we get ready for Race 2 in the Porsche Sprint Challenge GT3 Cup Series. I'm Joe Peak, and with me in the booth is former driver Joey Atterbury. Joey, it was a hazy morning, but the sun is out over beautiful VIR.
It certainly is. It's back to being a very hot and humid weekend. Let's take a look at the track map of VIRginia International Raceway, a 17-turn, 3.27-mile facility that is incredibly fast and very narrow at certain parts. A couple key areas to look out for. Turn number 1, possibly your biggest break zone, so a great passing opportunity. Also, look at how far down that start-finish line is on that front straightaway. Then you go into the uphill S's towards Oak Tree, which is known as turn 12 down there. We've seen a lot of cars get loose. And then turn 14, another great passing opportunity at the end of that back straightaway.
Without a doubt, it's going to test a lot of drivers today with the high speeds they reach. With them taking off for our pace lap, let's go through our starting order. Cole Kleck, again, going to be on pole. Danny Dashelski going to try and hold on to that second place today as he lost it early yesterday in the race. Caden Kelly will be on pole for the Masters with Scott Blend starting in second on that row as well. Next to him, Joel Johnson will be 5th overall. And we get to another of our Pro-Ams with Evan Hinkle getting his first podium in his first ever GT3 Cup race. Chris Hutter looking for redemption after a wreck yesterday in the race will start from 7th. Tony Melito will be 8th. And John Gilliland will start in 9th after that. With the top 10, Joey, being rounded out by Mark Bowden.
Then in 11th, we've got Todd Treffer. Next to him is going to be in 12th, Laura Eli. On the next row is going to be Ross Poole starting in 13th, with Reinhold Kron starting in 14th. After that, in 15th spot, we've got Tim Kesman with Grady Willingham lined up next to him in the 16th spot. Then we've got Gafarov over here in 17th with Brady Behrman lining up in 18th. And then in 19th, we've got Therese Lalu. Keep an eye out for her. She charged through the field yesterday. In 20th, it's going to be Michael Levitas.
From there, you've got Frank Vitiello in 21st this weekend. Josh Conley starting in 22nd. Tuati will be starting in the 23rd spot as Eric Lapp starts 24th. Quarter Century sees Dan Ammon doing a lot of races this weekend, hopping back in the car pretty quickly. He's got Womack starting from 26th next to him. Javier Ripoll Jr. will start from 27th, the last of our Pro-Ams. From here, it's Masters. Woody Wichard starting 28th, Greg Shermer 29th, and John Manship in 30th. And then from there, our last two going to be Francisco de Jesus 31st and Nicholas Groombridge 32nd of our 32-car field. We're heading up through those climbing S's towards that Oak Tree corner. Here it is late in the morning. This is the last race of the weekend for the Porsche Sprint Challenge. Last chance to try and prove yourself, Joey. And like I said, we got a few drivers that are trying to make up for yesterday.
They are, and I think a few drivers trying to move up one spot on that podium. I think after talking with Scott Blend after yesterday's race, he was saying, you know what, Caden Kelly shouldn't get too comfortable in that first place spot. He wants to get right back up to it. So I think that there's some good inter-class battles that we're going to be seeing. And, of course, throughout the weekend, we've seen some danger areas here at VIR. We've seen a couple cars off down at turn number 3. That seems to be a big choke point, especially on the opening laps. And then also down at Oak Tree, we've seen lots of cars get out of shape out there. So with these temperatures now starting to rise, a nice cloudy morning, but now it's starting to get slippery.
Exactly. A lot of powers underneath the engines in these cars. So you've got to be careful about putting that throttle down as it gets warmer and warmer. And you mentioned Scott Blend. We've seen his competitive nature come out this season, not only trying to win here in the North America Series, but he's been showing up now regularly in the USA West and taking the majority of the wins over there. So he's not happy with second place. He wants to win everything he can, especially in these GT3 Cup cars, as he also competes even in the Carrera Cup in them. They're off of the final corner out of Hog Pen, and the pace car is going to leave them be And it is going to be Cole Kleck who leads them down to the green, waiting for the call from the flag stand. A nice bunch of rows of Porsches on the main straight here at VIR. And there it is. Green flag is out as we go racing once again here at VIRginia International Raceway. Kleck with a big start over Dyshelski. Is he going to be able to chop in? No, he does not have room to the inside, but he's a little bit farther ahead than Caden Kelly this time. And it looks like he'll hold on as it gets backed up at the very back of the pack.
Yeah, there is definitely some bumper-to-bumper contact, call it mid-pack, maybe two-thirds of the way back, but Danny Dyshelski finds himself in that second place position. Yesterday's race, he got shuffled down to third. That's exactly what that 252 wants, is a clean windshield to chase down our leader, Cole Kleck, who dominated yesterday.
And thankfully for Chris Hutter, he made it past where he did yesterday and got through turn 3. Oh, but I may have spoke too soon. We got some cars at the back, not seeing who's involved. 3 of them off course, 1 facing the wrong way, 4 of them off course. That looks like Vitiello.
Yeah, it does look like, I believe that might be the 248, and he's got some bodywork damage on that right side. And Joe, I don't know if you caught that, but there seemed to be a secondary incident after that initial, call it 3-car pileup down there at turn number 5. So it is Cole Kleck in that 211, that orange car, leading over Danny Dyshelski, both in that Pro-Am class. Caden Kelly finds himself right back leading the Masters.
When we last left him, he was stopped on the track, but they haven't thrown the full course yellow yet, so there is hope. Oh, he's still there, though, and there is the full course yellow. So Vitiello unable to get the car going. Severe damage on the right rear, without a doubt. You mentioned the secondary incident coming up through the snake. I feel like that's a danger spot we don't often mention, but anybody trying to go through there too wide almost always seems to run into trouble.
There's some choke points here at VIR, some funnels, if you call it, and I think the first one that we always reach is NASCAR Bend, turn number 3. We had an incident there yesterday in race number 1, but looked like the field got through that section, and then, yeah, when you get to call it turn 5 and 5A, there's another huge funnel effect. You get through 4, okay, and you can kind of go too wide through 4, but once you get into 5, you better have that racing line sorted out.
This is dramatically different than the incident we had on lap 1 in yesterday's race, where 2 cars really got off early and 1 went into the barriers, but there wasn't any sort of contact. But from what we could see of the tire well, you were pointing out a lot of rubber there. It looked like 2 cars definitely came together in this one.
Yeah, it looked like the right rear quarter panel of Vitiello's car had some heavy damage, as well as a heavy tire mark pretty much up on top of that fender flare. That usually tells me wheel-to-wheel contact, and a car probably popped up into the air a little bit and kind of landed on the bodywork.
So let's try and take a little bit of a better look at what happened in this incident. We saw it from above, and we've got Vitiello's onboard here. He's already making some aggressive moves down into the left hook. Does it happen in front of him? No, he gets clipped from behind. Someone clearly moved him. He was in front of a lot of cars, and there's nothing he could do once he's turned around like that.
No, not much. You know, you always want to try to hold the brakes if you can, so that way you're not continuing rolling. The one thing that I saw is that we couldn't see a car on drivers, right? We didn't have that camera angle to know somebody was there, but definitely turning into turn number 5, there was not enough space for 2 cars by any means.
Trying to figure out who we're on board with here, but someone is pulled off. This is the 218 that we're watching with right now, and that is Groombridge. So I wonder if he got caught up in it. That was an odd space that he's pulled off. I wonder if that's one of the attachments that he has to the Patriot course on the inside somewhere, that he's found some space to kind of get out of the way if he was involved. In the meantime, definitely need that flatbed for poor Frank Vitiello, who's going to see his weekend end just a little prematurely.
I think I also see, unfortunately, Brady Behrman in the 228 was probably knocked out of that incident as well. So, to your point, Groombridge, Vitiello, and maybe the 228 also involved. So a little bit of a start and stop here to begin race number 2, but I think that's kind of standard practice here this weekend for these GT3 Cup cars. They should be used to this.
Yeah, it's a bit of a trend, unfortunately, but sometimes that does happen in racing. And like you said, this is a really tough track. So, by the way, that incident there on the first lap is under review right now. Sometimes race control will elect not to, with it being the first lap and things happen. But I think they're wanted to take a closer look to see if anybody was to blame for that. Sounds like we get another angle on the incident as well. So let's take another look at it. This is from Groombridge, so a little farther back from Frank.
I have a feeling he's going to be one of these cars to go. No, so there's Vitiello drivers left. I think this is the secondary incident. There's the car just came drivers right and just kind of smacked Groombridge. I don't think he really had any idea that a car was over there. You saw two cars rejoining on drivers left. I think a car was probably anxious to get through the wreck on drivers right from our camera car. And we talk about those funnel points, those choke points. I mean, that was a live action replay of it.
Yeah, and you know, it's always easy to criticize, especially when there's an incident happening, when we have drivers getting into each other after the fact. But we have to remember that the drivers can only see from their own perspective. They're in the cockpit. They can't see what we can see from these TV cameras. So I'm sure, Joey, when you're trying to make those split-second decisions, you're always dealing with partial information from where you sit.
100%. I think that race car drivers, you feel where everybody else is. It kind of sounds a little bit silly, but you have a tendency of feeling where another car is. If it's on your back bumper, or if it's kind of climbing up your right side or left side, you don't necessarily need the mirrors. You can kind of feel where that car is. Or, for instance, let's say if you get a poor exit out of turn number 1, you probably know that somebody's going to be pressuring you down there into turn number 3. So that kind of all goes into that feel of being inside of a race car. But things also get very busy on the opening lap. I mean, we got 32 GT3 Cup cars out here. And last time I looked, you can't fit 32 GT3 Cup cars wide here at VIR, so you're going to have to give and take at some point.
No, we're not Burke Airport in Cleveland, unfortunately. So we were on board with Laura Eli once again, and those of you that watched yesterday may have remembered we noticed they have a little rubber ducky on the dash of the car. I actually was able to talk. Here we go. Yeah, one of the mechanics came up to me this morning, said that and I think this is more of a joke, but he said that is their G-force meter. If the duck is out of place, then they know they need to check the tub. So it serves purpose other than just looking cute.
It's an impact duck.
Yes.
No, I always love to see it, and it's great. You know that you have to have fun out here at the racetrack. That's what we're all doing. We love racing. That's why we're here. But it's also a point of fun. If you're not having fun at the racetrack, it's just not a good time. I know that I love it here at VIR. I love watching these Porsches. It doesn't matter what cars are out there. I love to be around racing, and that's why everybody is out here.
There we go. Big thanks to Mike, our producer. So in case you couldn't find the duck, there it is, up just under the track map there. So we're still waiting for this full course yellow to get cleared up. This is going to make another truncated race. And we are hearing that lights are out, so it's not going to be much longer. We should be getting going very shortly. There you can see the safety car backing everybody up, getting all the cars nice and together here for the restart. Cole Kleck going to get a single file on this one.
This is going to be an interesting dynamic. This is the first time that Danny Deshelski has restarted in second place. He's always been on the front row on these 2x2 restarts, or in the initial starts, but this is the first time that it is going to be Pro-Am cars operating those first two positions.
Exactly, and Kelly and Blend behind him are masters, so they're not fighting for points paying positions, but they also don't want to be held up if those two start to go side by side. So he's got to watch out as Kleck is on it early, and he gets going. Does look like Blend might have some trouble. Evan Hinkle going to try and pass him. That's not four-class position back there. What's going to happen down into turn one as they pass the flag stand towards the horseshoe? A defense down the inside from Caden Kelly. A look up the inside from Hinkle on Blend. Almost gets up there, but it looks like he has to pull back partway through the corner.
Looks like Cole Kleck was able to manage that restart procedure perfectly. He's got, call it a 3-car length lead over that white and black number 252. And crucially, Caden Kelly, that Masters class leader in 3rd place overall, also had an excellent restart. So now we feed our way through this snake, the lower S's as you call it. Accelerate your way through, up through 3rd gear. Click it up into 5th gear after 4th gear. Look at the speeds, nearly 150 miles an hour as we go up the S's.
And they're not even to the top of it quite yet. Just going over the crests here and up towards South Bend. Does look like Blend was able to successfully rebuff Hinkle. Instead, he's on the attack now. Caden Kelly in front of him. We heard Joey mention on the podium that Blend did not seem too pleased that he has lost a win here this season. Already on the attack of the 208.
Looks like our top 4, call it top 5 cars, got out of Oak Tree all pretty equally, pretty evenly. So if anything, it's call it that 6th, 7th place battle. That's Gilliland, I believe, and Johnson back there. So they're pretty close going down the back straightaway. Looks like Cole Kleck has kind of resumed his position at the front of the field. But remember yesterday, the longer we drove these GT3 Cup cars, Cole didn't let up at all. He said at the end, his rear tires definitely needed some help out there, and he was sliding the car all around.
And remember, we heard from the Cayman drivers at the end of their race this morning that there needed to be a bit of tire management throughout the race. So keep an eye on that bright orange 211. See if he starts to maybe get a little bit loose towards the end if he pushes this hard the entire way. About a second gap over Dashelski behind. Kelly continues to lead in the Masters.
A great lap from our leader, a 150.333. That's nearly 3/4 of a second faster than that 2nd place car. So the battle is actually, call it 6th, 7th place overall. These are the cars that we're watching.
Coming down through into NASCAR Bend as we watch them try to set themselves up for this long acceleration zone. It's not completely a straight, but you need to really be on the throttle. We're checking back now with Lalu, with Cron behind her. 2 different classes. Therese starting up a little bit higher today. Thankfully, she is 6th, where she finished 5th in class yesterday. Let's see if she can use this to maybe get a little bit up, maybe another podium.
She had a tremendous race yesterday, and you're right, she drove it up inside of the top 10 overall, made a ton of passes out there on the racetrack. So I'm looking for her to do the exact same thing here today. You saw Scott Blend in this bright neon yellow Ruckus racing machine really get close to Caden Kelly through Oak Tree, but it seems like Kelly was really able to focus on the exit, kind of gap him out by about 1, maybe 2 car lengths, but he's coming back in the slipstream.
On board with Kelly. We can see a little bit behind him there with the camera looking back at the driver. Doesn't look like he's under threat down into roller coaster, so he holds on for the time being. 22 minutes plus a lap to go, so already about a third of the way through this race.
See just a little bit of application of the brakes to make sure you got the car slowed down enough that it doesn't just fling itself off the track through that hog pin section. Cole Kleck continuing another purple fastest lap. The only car to break the 150 bracket so far, a 149.3, as Caden Kelly in the middle of the racetrack here in turn number 1, just kind of dissuading Scott Blend from a big lunge up the inside.
Clearly he's feeling a bit under threat here. Oh, Scott looking to the left side and even giving an indication there that he is going to try and send it, but not quite to the position there down in the NASCAR Bend. Yeah, it's interesting. I didn't think that Scott was close enough into braking down in turn 1, but boy, he gained a lot of ground, so no wonder Caden tried to defend.
But crucially, I mean, in Sector 1 here, look at how much they've already separated, right? Scott Blend was on the bumper of that car going through turn number 1, and now he's separated by, call it, 10 car lengths between the two of them. This is the highest speed section of the racetrack. Slow it down a little bit here for this fast left-hander of turn number 10. Down in elevation, right back up to Oak Tree here. Seeing a lot of cars get wiggly through this second decreasing radius corner here, but both of the drivers able to navigate it perfectly.
Behind them does look like Hinkle might have some company in Johnson getting close to the back of them. So battle for 3rd and 4th overall and 5th and 6th overall on the track. Definitely see a couple of pairs at this stage of the race as we watch them work their way up the sinews of Madison Avenue.
up and down these rolling hills at VIR as we see Therese Lalu with a big look. I believe that's Laura Eli directly in front. Both cars maybe just a car width off of the apex there to begin the roller coaster section as we dive down the hill here. We're riding on board the number 233. This is the car of Reinhold Kron. He's right behind Therese Lalu, so she's looking to get that draft on Laura Eli and possibly make a move into turn number 1 if she's close enough.
Remember, Eli is Masters class, Lalu is Pro-Am, but Kron behind Therese is Masters as well, so I don't think Laura really wants to give up this position. She goes off, though, forced into an error as Therese Lalu manages to sneak back underneath.
The easiest pass. Oh, and now she spins it around. She's going to lose a ton of track position. That is so unfortunate for Laura Eli. As we sit here, you got to wait for all these cars to get by. This is the safe thing to do. No cars coming. Perfect on the radio. I love seeing that rejoin. Not in anybody's way, but I was going to say the easiest pass you can make is somebody else's mistake.
Well, the rubber ducky hasn't moved, so that's the good sign right there. But, yeah, positions have been massively lost since then, and she is to the back of the field, it looks like. She'll probably need another caution to get caught back up to the back of the group. Meanwhile, we check in here in the mid-pack with some battling heading up towards Oak Tree with Willingham.
Yeah, I think this is Willingham chasing Ross Poole. I think Gafarov is also involved in this battle, so a nice little three-car train going down the back straightaway here. There is a possibility this is close enough to try to make a move. You know, these cars do punch a pretty big hole in the air.
Yeah, it gives a lot of draft. There's a lot of aero parts on these cars. Coming up into the braking zone, Poole is going to hold him back for the time being. Meanwhile, as we head down the hill, sounds like we're going to get a second look at that run into turn 1. Here's Laura Eli. Now, did she defend? I'm trying to remember.
Yeah, she was.
So she's off racing line.
Yeah, she's in the middle, and let's watch the brake pedal pressure. I mean, she is standing on it. She knows she's in way too deep and just unfortunately drives it off the racetrack, trying to get it back on. That's when she just kind of looped it around. These Yokohama tires have great grip on the pavement, but unfortunately the grass, not so much.
Well, and our viewers who don't follow racing regularly might not understand, Joey. What's so difficult about trying to slow the car up when you're off the racing line?
It's got no grip, Joe. I guess the best way to explain it is it's almost like you're driving on normal pavement conditions, and then all of a sudden you kind of go into a very slippery rain sort of condition. It's not that it's going to make the car slide forever. You can obviously drive off-road in any type of vehicle. However, the pavement it's got so much more grip. It almost seems like when you get to the grass, the car actually speeds up, and from there it's just kind of hanging on.
Unfortunate, but that's the way the cookie crumbles sometimes. Jumping back to Poole once again, looking like he's separating himself from Grady here at this stage, so that'll make him happy, although very good on brakes for that white machine behind. In fact, wow, he gains it all right back, much more confident coming through Oak Tree.
Yeah, Willingham was very aggressive going in. Unfortunately, maybe cost him a little bit on exit. You see as we ride on board here, just trying to creep a little bit closer, using that toe, using that slipstream directly in the tire tracks of the car in front. And once again, kind of a repeat at Oak Tree. You see him aggressive on the brakes and maybe a little bit of wiggle out of Ross Poole directly in front. Just kind of showing a little bit of a crack in the armor over there, maybe a weakness in that section.
And again, off the apex there for Poole, leaving himself vulnerable. Meanwhile, we've got Chris Hutter here. He's also under threat. This is coming down into turn 1. Tony Melito trying to see if he could sneak by, but nothing doing down into that first corner. Hutter not doing too shabby, currently sitting in 9th.
And remember, I believe that was the car that had a pretty big impact right here at this corner yesterday. And I think they were up late, trying to fix it. But driver obviously A-OK and performing at a great level. No, now it's side by side. This is going to be a moment for the 203. Is he keeping on the track? Yes, thankfully.
Wow, that was tight. Tony is going to have to clean those tires off, but at least he's still pointed the right way and on the track once again. So drivers having to be aggressive on some of the defenses, try to just claim their track position out there.
Going through turn number 5, too wide, it's just very, very difficult. That's one of those choke points that I was talking about earlier. Turn number 4, you can get away with it, but by the time you get to 5 and 5A, you better have it sorted.
Back on to Madison Avenue. We're going to jump back to Therese Lalu once again. Tim Kesman now up in front of her. If she can get by Kesman, then Melito is within her class, the next car up. So she could find herself back into the top 5 if she can just make a couple passes here. Kesman, is he going to fight this hard with this not being within class? If she can get an attempt, though, we have to say, because right now she's not quite there.
She's got several cars directly in front of her. Now, obviously, like you were saying, a Masters class car, and she's hoping to get by that to get up to a Pro-Am for some points. But I look out the windshield here, this 242, and I see several cars. So, yeah, if you can get by one, keep on clicking them down.
This is the run onto the main straight, coming towards the horseshoe. She's not there. She is going to show herself in the mirrors just to see if she can distract that car. And a little bit of an early turn-in from Kesman, so she's getting in his head.
Kind of the same thing that she did just a couple laps ago to force the mistake out of Eli back there, but doesn't work this time around. And Tim Kesman actually kind of pulls it out there in NASCAR Bend, turn number 3. And as I say that, Therese Lalu deep on the brakes. You saw the attitude of the car, the nose just pitched down. You always like seeing that as a driver, hard on that brake pedal pressure.
Trying to make up that time, looking a little farther back. Ooh, a nice trio that we've got fighting here for the farther down positions. So this is coming up towards the bridge now amongst the 3 of them. Mid-pack still very important to these drivers, all worth points.
Feed their way into the uphill S's here. Let's see if anybody gets out of shape. Looks like all 3 of them made it through nicely. It's led by that 247. That's Tuati, and then Patrick Womack, as well as Levitas. Those are the 3 cars going down into Oak Tree.
Womack giving chase, going to try and set him up as Tuati exits onto Madison Avenue now. And it's a good run from that orange and blue machine. So that'll keep him well out of reach coming up into Roller Coaster. But I don't think this will last forever. They've also got the 297 of Eric Lapp not far behind. He'd love to see them start to battle to help him close up. And I think Kesman and Lalu may have been side by side for a brief moment because I thought I saw the positions change for a flash.
I think you were right. I think I saw some arrows on timing and scoring here as the field streams by the start-finish line in front of our broadcast booth. I love the way these 4-liter, 6-cylinder, 8,000 RPM motors. I mean, they're making 500-plus horsepower in these GT3 Cup cars, and they sound amazing at full song.
I remember you were telling me that, they sent one of these Porsche Cup cars up the hill at Goodwood recently, and it set some impressive times, I understand.
Yeah, from what I saw, I think it was beating some other GT3 cars at the time. I know it was kind of time trials and qualifying, but it was really fun to see a GT3 Cup car up there kind of muscling the bigger GT3 cars out of the way.
Yeah, I love that Porsche gives drivers a lot to play with. It's a real toy out on the track, no doubt. As we come back to not Grady Willingham. This is John Gilliland here sitting in 7th place. You're pointing something out. Is there something amiss on the car?
I don't know if it's just the paint, right? It is white and black, kind of like a cow, so it kind of can camouflage some things. But I thought I saw maybe like something underneath the rear bumper hanging a little bit low, but from that shot, it looks totally fine.
That might be the cowtail that you're just seeing hanging off the back of there. But this is the battle for 6th right now between this pair. That is for position. Johnson trying to hold him at bay. Sounds like we might have another replay coming up here.
As these cars feed their way through, let's take a look at Tony Melito's view here. So this is through NASCAR Bend.
So this is when he got kind of pushed off, it looks like. Ooh, sends it up the inside. Saw an opportunity. Saw it at the wheel. And then as he exits out of turn 5, there was just not any road left.
perfect example of there's room for 2 wide at turn 4. By the time you get to turn 5, you gotta have it sorted, like I said, and it's just that he didn't do anything wrong, right? He was side by side. He just simply ran out of racetrack.
Got an update from race control. The incident on lap 1 is going to be reviewed post-race. Now, the reason they do that sometimes is they feel like they need information from drivers to really, truly assess it. And since I imagine a lot of those drivers are out, they have a chance to kind of wait. It's not going to affect the racing order.
And I think I saw, correct me if I'm wrong here, but this was Gilliland getting by Johnson. That's an important pass for position because that is a podium in that Masters class. So move that 280, move it up onto the podium.
You're right. Glad we caught that. That was a great spot. And Gilliland's now into P3. Unfortunately for him, Hinkle is out of class, the next one up, and it looks like it's a ways there. So I don't know if he'll be able to get to second unless we do get another caution to bunch everybody up. Yeah, look at the gap up to try and get to Scott Blend. It's a long ways.
I love watching this racing, and when you're having fun, time flies. I look at the clock. We are under 10 minutes plus 1 lap remaining, and up front, nothing has changed. Cole Kleck still leads by 2.5 seconds over Danny Deschelsky, and it looks like we've got a problem. This is the 220 car on the back straightaway. He is pulling it into the south paddock, call it. So having some issues out there. That's Patrick Womack.
Yeah, so that is a good call for him, although he's coming back out. So maybe just trying to stay out of the way of fast cars coming off the corner. They do, have that extra paddock down there, so that is essentially what is usually pit lane if you're racing that south part of the course. But he seems to have something amiss with the car that he's just kind of puttering home and hoping to keep out of harm's way. Meanwhile, I've been kind of watching this. It's not just Johnson needing to worry about Gilliland. Treffert is in there behind in that red and white machine, and he seems like he's also eager to demote him.
Did you see Gilliland? Huge wag of the tail coming out of turn 5. We saw Cole Kleck, our leader, do that same move yesterday. Maybe a little bit more dramatic, but I was going to point out that Gilliland's last lap time nearly 3/4 of a second faster than that car that he just passed. However, made that little bit of a mistake down there at turn 5 and kind of gave up all of that track position back.
As we know, it's hard to keep a cow away from the grass, so he's going to have to work hard to keep it on the circuit here. This is where it's critical out of Oak Tree Bend, and he's definitely on the throttle, but look behind them. That battle is getting ever closer between Todd and Joel.
Yeah, so Treffert is in that red and white car. He's trying to get around Johnson. That's that middle car in the sandwich. It looks like he's going to pop out drivers left. We'll see if he's close enough. Oh, he's going to feint back drivers right. Just try to get in the mirrors there of this car. Try to force him into a little bit of a mistake, and kind of that lost ground that Gilliland gave back looks like he's starting to accelerate away again.
Down into hog pen one more time. Got another replay coming up. Oh, and there goes Treffert on through. That must have been a mistake by Johnson there. Interesting. I'm not sure if he just gave that up or if he just went a little bit too wide. Sounds like we got a replay on Therese in one of her battles here in the mid-pack.
Yeah, I think, unfortunately, she went off course. Oh, it's very busy in front.
Whoa.
Yeah, that was an optimistic racecraft move. I could see what she was trying to do. Those two cars were kind of way slow and out of shape off of the racing line, and she was trying to duck it down underneath, but unfortunately that gap for her closed pretty quickly.
So the interesting thing of that is that was Kesman in the bright green car, and then that was Cron directly in front of her. Now, Cron was behind her, so he must have made that overtake and then had set his sights immediately on Kesman, who was in his class. And like you said, well, the rest just unfolded in an unfortunate way. But that puts Therese down to 9th in class right now, so she definitely lost quite a bit from that. Kesman and Cron keep going, and Reinhold did get by. He's now up to 7th in Masters.
So we keep our eyes on this Gilliland-Treffert battle. This is starting to develop a little bit more, and oh, that was a car way off the, well, I shouldn't say way off the racetrack, but kind of way out of shape coming out of Oak Tree. I think they were able to save it, though.
I think that was Melito that was kind of shoved off, or no, maybe it was somebody else. Could have been Bowden.
Yeah,
There was a blue car. I did see that.
I saw it too, and it was way yawed out. And it looked to be, this is a different incident. This is De Jesus down there, 221. That's in that south paddock.
Okay, so it was De Jesus. He was being lapped then, I believe, if that was the case. Getting out of the way. Car coming to a halt. He is out of harm's way, so he shouldn't have to throw the full course yellow for that one. I'm sure he could stay there and have to wait in the heat, unfortunately, until this is over. But he's only got 5 minutes plus a lap, and he'll be hoping that Cole Kleck maybe moves a little bit quicker.
Yeah, just leave that master power on, keep that cool shirt on, keep that ice flowing. I'm sure it wouldn't be too bad in there. But to your point, 5 minutes plus a lap shouldn't have to sit in the oven too long as we ride on board with our leader, Cole Kleck. He's been navigating this VIR circuit perfectly all weekend. He won yesterday after leading every single lap from starting from pole position. He's looking to do the same thing today, the repeat.
If he does bring it home in first, it'll be 7 wins out of 8 races this season for Cole Kleck, a young driver coming in and making quick progress here. We have to remember, we haven't talked about a lot this weekend. Porsche Sprint Challenge is the first rung on the Porsche ladder system that they train talent coming in, that they can find and coach these drivers that want to go racing. I suspect that Cole Kleck might not be here in Sprint Challenge in 2026, and we'll see that name showing up in Carrera Cup.
I always love... he had a moment right there, Joe. It kind of is a repeat of yesterday. I don't think Cole Kleck knows how to drive at 9/10. I don't think he knows how to drive at 9.5/10. He is 11/10 at all times, and I saw him breathe the throttle coming through Hogpen just to keep the car on the racetrack.
For those that missed it yesterday, with a couple laps to go, Cole yawed the car out in turn 5, nearly touched the grass and lost control, but kept it just within range and kept it pointed forward and still came away with the win. So, yeah, you're right. He doesn't know how to relax. He's got the Ayrton Senna method of racing it, just 10/10 the whole way to the checkers.
This is our battle for our 992 Masters class. Remember, Caden Kelly was victorious yesterday. He is looking to do the repeat today, while Scott Blend is looking to find himself moving one position up. This has been a tough one. It almost seems like these two cars have had identical pace yesterday and today. There's really nothing between the two.
And we've seen Caden close to Scott before, but like I said, he's been on a bit of a run of domination as of late. This almost feels like a rebuttal for Caden Kelly, that he saw he was getting beat. He's going to hunker down, focus. He's found another gear, and he's not letting him by easy.
It's almost like he's remembering what Scott Blend said on the podium yesterday, and he just kind of wants to prove him wrong. He remembered that phrase and was repeating it over and over, and he doesn't want to have it happen. He pulls it out nicely. Nice gap there on the back straightaway. Looks to be about half a second or so as they go down into the brake zone here. A solid 20-car length lead.
I'm looking forward to this, if this remains a rivalry throughout the season, because like you said, it seems like they're pretty evenly matched for one another. If Caden makes any sort of mistake, Scott's going to be there, and vice versa. Meanwhile, a battle in behind coming down the Madison Avenue. This is Therese Lalu in behind that pair.
She's trying to make up for that little bit of a mistake earlier. We were talking about how close those front two were in terms of lap time. Joe, I saw that last lap time. They were only separated by 1/1000th of a second in terms of difference.
Man, so this is Javier Ripoll Jr. and Gaffarov. Actually, all 4 position. This is 7th, 8th, and 9th in the Pro-Ams, so this is important. And Ripoll Jr. is, I believe, a newcomer this weekend to the series. So he's having to prove himself, and he's got a good run down the main straight up towards Horseshoe. Don't think he's quite there, though.
What's going to be interesting, though, is when Teresa officially catches, which you can actually see her. She's creeping into the shot here. I do feel like she maybe has a little bit more pace than these two cars that she caught. Last lap time of 52.8 out of her. 53.6 or slower out of the front two that she has now caught. So I'm sure that dynamic from those front two battling, or I should say those two battling, going to change a little bit with the third car.
Muzafar was under attack, but it's a slide from Javier that allows him to run away. And now Therese saw that. She's going to know that they're going to be slightly off pace coming down through here, but she's not close enough to try and challenge them up towards the climbing S's. And you're right. Theoretically, based on both qualifying pace and where she was earlier, she's probably going to be a little bit quicker than them.
And they're both for position. These are all Pro-Am class cars that we are looking at, and unfortunately, this is in the turn 5 area. Looks like we got a car spinning around. This might be
Manship?
the 216, I think I see.
Yeah, so that's John Manship. And where in the world is he?
That's turn
actually?
5.
Okay. Yeah, so he gets back going. That is an easy spot to lose control of the car. Meanwhile, we are about a lap away from the white flag for our drivers because the clock has just hit 0. So we're a bit shy by a few seconds of getting it this time.
So this is going to be a closing couple laps. And you know what? Hey, he's already trending the right direction because, like you said, 2 laps ago, yesterday, he had a huge drift through that section of corners. Maybe he is kind of relaxing just a little bit.
Just a bit. You can be at 99.5%, not step over the line there. As we watched from above briefly on that Yokohama blimp, it's been smooth sailing for Cole Kleck. His main championship rival coming into this weekend was Alan Metney, but Metney had other obligations, was not able to attend, and is going to lose massively. And I guess the other good news is Therese having a bit of a rough day today means that he's going to have a massive gap because she's 3rd in the points. I think it's Melito that is next down in 4th. He sits 4th on the racetrack as well. So a lot of Alan Metney's Cole Kleck's rivals are, unfortunately for them, not anywhere near being able to keep him honest.
I know we've talked a lot about this driver, but I do want to give a shout-out to our second-place runner, Danny Dashelski. Remember, he showed up in Sonoma with those Cayman GT4s, dominated. This is his first time in these GT3 Cup cars, and he is doing excellent for his first weekend.
White flag should be out. Not seeing it being waved on our flag stand, though. But so it does look like we have the marker on our tower. So I'm going to go by what says on our tower that this is, in fact, the last lap. And the leader, Cole Kleck, like you said, with a handy gap of about 3.2 seconds. Danny's not wildly off the pace, but certainly hasn't been close enough this entire time to make for a threat. There you can see that white car flashing by in the background of some of the shots, at least remaining within visual.
Nice and on the racing line with limited slip angle was Cole Kleck through that turn 5A complex, and now you feed it into these uphill S's, my favorite part of this VIRginia International Raceway. And then a little bit of a breathe of the brakes, a downshift through turn number 10. Keep it on the racetrack, head towards this tricky brake zone of Oak Tree. Not too much brake pedal pressure, keep those rears in line. Focus on this launch out, and now Cole Kleck only has 1 straightaway and 1 sector remaining.
Not only a big credit here to Cole, the way he's been performing this weekend, but Caden Kelly, who's still our leader. It's not a huge margin, but enough that it doesn't look like Blend is able to attack right now, almost a second between the pair of them. We'll turn our attention once we get to the checkered flag, but for now, we turn the cameras to this bright orange 211. It's hard to miss it out on the track. It's been up at the front for nearly the entire season. And Cole Kleck exiting out of Hogpen is once again going to show the pace that he has as he takes victory number 2 at VIRginia International Raceway.
Beautiful drive, and it looks like Danny Dashelski and that VPX Motorsport team are going to finish second. Just waiting for this Caden Kelly Scott Blend battle. He's on the front straightaway right now. Looks like your Masters class victor is Caden Kelly.
He was still wheeling it. I saw a lot of corrections down through Hogpen. His crew up by the wall clapping and celebrating that it's another victory here for him, while Blend takes second. Henkel with his first 2 races getting podiums both times, and Gilliland, what a move he made to get himself up into third.
You're right, did a tremendous job to fight his way onto the podium, as it looks like Chris Hutter finishes with the top 10. That's another driver that's going to be much happier with today than yesterday.
In fact, the field pretty well packed together. We're seeing so many of them flash past us here at the line. So it seems like everybody picked up the pace significantly here at the end, as Tuati just goes by and puts himself into 10th in that Masters class. Nice recovery for him today. Oh, and Ripple Jr. showing in pit lane. He was supposed to be our next car by, but he has seemed to have retired the car a little bit early. Hopefully nothing is wrong. That's a real shame that he's going to lose a lot of positions here right at the end of it, and he's just going by us.
And he is pulling it into the paddock. I'm not sure on that one.
Yeah, we'll try and get some information. Dan Ammon, man, what a trooper this weekend. He did finish 16th in class, but racing both series in this heat is difficult. That's going to take us through our results. As we said, Cole Kleck, your victor in the Pro-Am class. Dushelski coming home second for the second race in a row. Then Caden Kelly, your winner in the Masters class, followed by Scott Blend. He didn't let his words hurt him. He took it to heart and came home with the victory. Evan Hinkle with back-to-back podiums in his first 2 ever races in the Cup Series. And then for the Cow Car, the cream rise to the top as Gilliland will finish in 3rd. You've got Todd Treffert in 7th overall, Mark Bowden in 8th, Tony Melito P9, and then Chris Hutter was 10th.
In 11th was Reinhold Kron. 12th was Tim Kesman. Joel Johnson finishing back here in 13th with Willingham in 14th. Ross Poole with a 15th place finish. Gaffarov back here in 16th, 7th in class. Therese Lalu unfortunately falls down to 17th. David Tuati in 18th. Levitas in 19th, and Eric Lapp with a top 20 result.
From there, Patrick Womack was 21st, Woody Witchard 22nd, Laura Eli got back on track but had to settle for 23rd. Josh Conley in at 24th. I understand he did get a post-race penalty. It was Greg Shermer in 15th, Dan Ammon 16th, and John Manship 17th. That's in class. And then you get to Ripple Jr., who for some reason exited into the pit a lap early. To Jesus, Behrman, Groombridge, Vitiello are DNFs for today. One more podium ceremony for you here at VIR for the Porsche Sprint Challenge. Stick around as we've got more to come.
Experience the ultimate thrill, Porsche GT Track Day, where passion meets performance on some of North America's most legendary racetracks. Designed exclusively for Porsche owners, this is your chance to unleash the full potential of your vehicle in a motorsport environment. Drive the same circuits as professional racers, on the same weekend as Porsche Sprint Challenge events. Where will your Porsche take you? Ensures a premium, exclusive experience. You'll get nearly 3 hours of track time, starting with reconnaissance laps, progressing through lead-follow sessions, and culminating in exhilarating open laps. Plus, strap in for heart-pounding hot laps with a professional race driver.
I thought I was fast. Didn't resemble anything that I've ever done.
Beyond the track, immerse yourself in VIP hospitality, premium viewing areas, and exclusive paddock access where you can witness Porsche Sprint Challenge teams in action. Spots are limited. Scan the QR code now to reserve your place at Porsche GT Track Day.
It's hard to contain your excitement when you get something you've really wanted. Like the gold standard in automotive protection, WeatherTech floor liners. With deep sculpted channels and laser measured for total protection in the front, back, and even up the sides.
Dad, you're going viral.
What? WeatherTech me.
So don't be shy, enjoy. Order your premium American-made products at WeatherTech.com.
Time for our podium ceremonies here at Porsche Sprint Challenge North America, the GT3 Cup Series. Now coming your way, we're going to start it off with the 992 Masters. Finishing third, it's the number 280 of John Gilliland. Finishing P2 today, adding to his points lead, it's the number 245 of Scott Blend. And our winner, not succumbing to pressure, it's the 208 of Caden Kelly.
YouTube Premium is ad-free.
Well, John, we're going to start with you over here. You were able to move that car up onto the podium with a nice executed pass. How does it feel to stand up here?
Feels great after yesterday. Ooh, screwing it up in turn one, but felt great today. A little hot in the car, but appreciate the team. Kelly Moss done a wonderful job for me. Coach Riley and Donnie Leonard on the car. It's been awesome.
Congrats on that third place. John Gilliland. And now over to our second place finisher, Scott Blend. It seems like a hot weekend, another second place for you, but it's still a good result.
Yep, heat is just a state of mind. We didn't pay attention to that, but he was fast as hell. We had a little something for him early, but, as the tires kind of got a little greasy, I just couldn't quite get the run I needed. But, like I said yesterday, this was a tough weekend, start to a weekend. But with my incredible crew, Andrew Davis, we were able to pull together what ended up to be a super weekend. This hasn't traditionally been our track, but we came out of here in a really good spot. We're really happy.
Congrats on the second place for Scott Blend. And let me climb up here with you, Caden. Back-to-back wins here at VIR in the heat. You proved Scott wrong. He said he was going to take it away from you today, but here you are.
Yeah, honestly, I thought he would as well, but I think he was getting too used to being on the top step, so I needed to humble him a bit. I'm sure he's going to keep bringing it, and as he always does, he gets more motivated and works harder, so I know I'm going to be up for it at Road America. But I just want to give a shout-out to KMR. Shield, best freaking engineer in the world. Riley giving me input here and there. Carissa, just the support, for me personally. But all KMR has just been fantastic. I mean, what a wonderful week. I just can't believe how good it's gone. I'm just super grateful.
How were you able to hang on out there? We were watching the lap times, and it seems like you guys were only separated by thousandths at some points.
Dude, I'm like, what's going on? When is he going to break? I'm watching my lap times. I'm like, I'm pretty consistent, but then they fell off a good chunk, and I'm like, oh, I'm in trouble. I'm in trouble. He's going to come get me. And then all of a sudden I saw him have a mistake, and I was like, thank God. But then I made a mistake, and it was like, oh. So it was just such a battle to the end, and he made me work for every little bit of it. So it was awesome. It was intense. I couldn't have asked for anything more. So thanks for the race, buddy. That was awesome.
Everybody smiling up here, having fun. Congrats to the Masters podium.
And now for the last time, let's spray the champagne. Congratulations to the 992 Cup Masters podium. Fantastic racing they gave us, both in race 1 and in race 2. Now for the 992 Pro-Am podium. Making it 2 for 2 on his debut. Third place is the 277 of Evan Hinkle.
Burn it down. Burn it down. We're gonna burn it down.
Coming home in second today, the 252 of Danny Deshelski.
I killed it, it's murder. I killed it, it's murder.
I killed it, it's murder.
Back-to-back wins in the Pro-Am as well. It's the driver of the number 211, Cole Kleck.
Go crazy, berserker. I killed it, it's murder. Go crazy, berserker.
Well, Evan, we'll go ahead and start with you over here in third place. Back-to-back podiums in a brand new car. What does this mean to you?
It's pretty crazy. I had never guessed coming down the road that I was going to stand up here. So I work a full-time job for the company on my chest, and I do this once a year, and it's pretty cool. So thanks.
It is very cool. Congrats on back-to-back podiums here this weekend at VIR. We'll move over to Danny Deshelski, a very similar story. Still in a GT3 Cup car here today, still on the podium. It's got to give you a lot of confidence for the future.
It has. This has been a really enjoyable weekend for the first time in this car. It's a really fun track. VPX has given me a really good car, and I'm just excited to continue the season.
Great job, back-to-back podiums, and let's climb up here with our winner, Cole Kleck. I was making the comment in the race, I don't think you know how to drive at 9/10, you were sliding the thing all over again today.
Oh, yeah. I mean, it's always full push with our head down with the top crew. And it was just flat out from the green flag to we had our restart, and from the restart to the checkered flag, we just kept pushing.
And you did have to manage restarts on both races. It seems like you were able to handle them. A little bit of a hiccup earlier in the season, but you've learned from it.
Oh, yeah, we studied the rule book a little bit and learned from it and capitalized from it.
Great job today. Give it up for your Pro-Am podium.
Show them. Change the station with a new ship. Change the station. Change the station. Change the station with a new ship. With a new ship. Change the station. Change the station. Change the station with a new ship. With a new ship.
And of course, let's cool off with some champagne! Let's give it up for our 992 Pro-Am podium. Congratulations. Porsche Sprint Challenge Series, our racing wrap-up here at VIR. We'll be back from the 8th to the 10th in August at Road America, another classic here in North America. Until next time, I'm Joe Peak. Race clean, race hard, and we'll see you on the track.